All right. So, good day, grade 12 students. I am your Sir Leon discussing here the module 3 for C4. So, this should be the supposed lesson that we should have this week, but unfortunately, we have this consecutive cancellation or suspension of class in this week. So, here I'll be filming the lesson for module 3, which is entitled Contemporary Art in the Philippine Context. Okay, so I already uploaded this in your Genio, and then you should be have now the lecture of this lesson. Okay, so let's talk about our objectives. So let's for this lesson's objective, we'll be identifying the meaning of Philippine art. In our previous lesson, we have already talked about the art forms that we have in the Philippines, and now we'll be having that classifying the different Philippine arts and design and tradition, as well as describe the different contemporary art in the Philippines. Excuse me. Okay, so here again we'll be having our digging back or tracing back what is the Philippine from the past to present and what are the art forms that is being presented that are being present in those times na babalikan natin yung mga taon or mga era na meron tayo in our country. Okay, so let's proceed. So, as for this po, I'll be asking you for this as an assignment na lang. Kindly look for Philippine art or know some Philippine art. So, you should answer this question, what Philippine art do you know? And then, for the second question is that, what makes this Filipino artwork that you look or nahanap nyo as what makes this Filipino art a Philippine art? So I have already asked this question back in the module 1, di ba? So we talked about it already. So sa Naniman, as you explained those assignment I have given, masagot nyo po that what makes them as Filipino. So but this lesson naman po, I'll be discussing you what makes those Philippine art as a Filipino. Okay, let's go and move forward. So here on this lesson nga po, as I said, will be knowing first what this Philippine art as Filipino. So, ayan. So, alamin po natin yung definition ng Philippine art as a Filipino. So here, according to art critic Lea Benasa, genre used to be a major consideration in determining the Filipino-ness of a work of art, at least in painting. Moreover, Benasa stated that the depiction of scenes of everyday life and its surrounding without idealizing them as closest in spirit to the Filipino soul and native soil. So here, according to Benasa, in determining the Philippine art as a Filipino, we should look for this genre. In this genre that we are talking about, or sa genre na pinag-uusapan natin dito, we're not talking about the genre of music. Na yung pop, yung rock, yung K-pop, those things ay hindi po yun yan. Okay? The genre that we are talking about here is the art style or the painting style. Excuse me. So again, si genre po is isang style of painting para i-define or magkaroon siya ng classification with other painting. Okay? In considering nga po, the Philippine art, again, genre should be the major consideration. Why? Because genre means, or the genre style or the painting style of genre is that it is a depiction of scenes of everyday lives and the surrounding of the context of the painting. Like for example, when we are identifying nga po Philippine art, so if we're going to look for the Philippine art or the Filipino artworks, so ang titingnan natin, ano yung dinidepict ng mga artwork na yun? Are they depicting or are they referring to the environment or the surroundings that features Filipino culture, tradition, and a lot. So, yun bang mga artwork na yan ay nagpapakita ng mga kultura at mga tradisyon ng mga Pilipino? If so, then therefore, we can consider them as Philippine art or those Philippine art is a Filipino. Kasi dito, sabi, based on this idea, we could define that Philippine art as an art refers to the depiction of everyday lives of Filipinos. So as long as it depicts Filipino culture and tradition, or it depicts the everyday lives of Filipino, we can say that those artwork that being presented or being created by these artists are Filipino. Okay? So yun lang po yun. Simple as that genre, as long as it depicts Filipino culture and tradition, and it will make the Philippine art as Filipino. Okay? Sa madaling salita, kapag ang pinapakita ng isang mga paintings, larawan, or mga artworks ay nagpapakita ng kulturang Pilipino, ay ito ay Pilipino. We can consider them as Filipino art, or the Filipino-ness of this artwork is 100%. Okay? So let's move on. So alam na po natin kung ano or paano natin ina-identify si Philippine art as Filipino. So let's move now to the Philippine arts, designs, and tradition. So in this lesson, we'll be talking about this Philippine arts, designs, and tradition. Paano tayo nag-transcend into contemporary art nga po in our time here in the Philippines. So pag-uusapan natin yung mga art forms or mga present na art forms na discuss natin in previous lesson, and paano sila nabuo. Okay? Titrace back natin siya ulit. So sa 21st century nyo, di ba, we trace back, or in the discussion in the first lesson of 21st century literature, nag-map out tayo ng literature. Dito naman, ma-map out natin or iti-trace back naman natin yung mga art style na present noon at paano siya naging contemporary in that present time. Okay? So let's talk about the timeline of Philippine art. Of course, since magma-map out nga tayo, dapat alam natin kung saan tayo babalik or kung paano natin malalaman or saan natin sisimulan yung pagma-map out ng Philippine art. Okay? Let's talk about this era of time na meron tayo sa bansa natin. So we have this pre-colonial, which exists, I think we can date this as 1500s to 1800s. Ito yung panahon na wala pa tayo, prehistoric to or pre-colonial, where wala pang occupation na nangyayari or wala pang mga pananakop na nangyayari sa bansa natin. Though, in this pre-colonial time nga po, if you can still recall the 21st century literature class nyo, sinabi doon na this era, meron ng mga present na mga other countries like Arabian and Chinese, pero they are here or they are present in our country for trading and, for mga pangangalakal lang or palitan ng kalakal, ganun. And then, after ng 1500s to 1800s, dumating the mga Spanish. I know, 1500s po pala, sorry, dumating ang mga Spanish. So, si pre-colonial po, correction, it's before 1500. So, mga naunang taon pa bago ang 1500s. So, Spanish po, dumating sila in 1500s to 1800. So, yun, dumating sila for at least ilang taon ulit tayo sinakop, 333 years. So, sobrang haba ng tinanggal nila dito sa bansa natin, and for sure, it affects our culture and tradition. Balik lang natin. Sorry. And then we'll be moving to American. So after nang tayo masakop ng Spanish, we move to being occupied by the Americans through Treaty of Paris. So after ng mga Spanyol na may pari, we have these American soldiers conquered us, and having this American being present in our country noong nagsimula ang Second World War through Japan and American wars, nasali tayo sa war between them. And kaya dumating po itong mga Japanese, which brought another culture and tradition sa ating bansa. And then after those 3 occupation na meron tayo, dumating na yung post-colonial period wherein wala nang mananakop sa ating bansa, but we have this post-colonial where the declaration of martial law is being present. So those timeline that we have being present is shows the changes or the effect ng pag-improve progress natin when it comes to producing artworks. Okay, so tingnan natin yung mga Philippine arts and design na nag-exist on those time ng mga timeline na ito. Okay, let's start with the Philippine arts and design by talking about the ethnic tradition. Okay, si ethnic tradition po, ito po, in these are under pre-colonial period. So, wala tayong mananakop here. I want you to set your mind that this time of ethnic tradition, ang meron tayo dito is sarili lang nating kultura. Opo, meron tayong sariling kinikilalang kultura back in the time na kung saan wala pang mga mananakop. Okay? Here, let's talk about this ethnic tradition as we are considering this as the oldest design and tradition in the Philippines. So we have considered this ethnic tradition kasi ito nga pong ethnic tradition is ito yung kulturang meron talaga tayo bago dumating itong mga mananakop. So sino ba itong mga ethnic? Ano ba itong ethnic tradition? So these are the ethnic culture and tradition of people na naninirahan like yung mga tribes natin, yung mga indigenous people na kilala natin ngayon. So, sila yung mga nagpanguna or nanguna sa pag-provide ng art na to. So, this ethnic nga po sa Pilipino, ito yung mga kultura ng mga katutubo natin na kinikilala natin as sarili nating kultura. Okay? These ethnic traditions and designs, which is written in prehistoric time, ethnic communities residing in Cordillera, highlands of Luzon and Bukidnon Plateau, and the mountain ranges of Lanao, Davao Oriental, and Agusan have preserved this tradition. So, itong mga ethnic tradition na to is being still present until now kasi may mga nagpre-preserve talaga ng mga tradisyon na to kasi nga we don't want to have ayaw naman natin kalimutan yung kung saan tayo nagmula, di ba? So, they are preserving and these people still exist, di ba? Yung mga katutubo natin na ay nag-exist pa naman until to these days. Yung mga katutubo natin sa Cordillera regions or yung mga taga-Ifugao, yung mga, yun, sila yung mga katutubo natin na nagpre-preserve ng mga ethnic tradition. When we say ethnic tradition, again, ito po yung mga kultura, tradisyon ng mga katutubo natin. Okay. So, what the ethnic tradition design na present sa ating book is this is being created as a response to the challenges of living in various climates and environments. Ethnic designs were created. So, ito, nagbuo tong ethnic traditions na to or the reason why we have this ethnic tradition or designs is because of the living in various climate and environment. So siguro naman aware kayo that back in the days ang form of living natin is that wala namang kasuotan noon, wala namang salitang wika, walang mahagamitan. So, for them to survive, people adapted to live in the environment. So, if we're going to refer to the first people in the planet, sa Bible, di ba? Ang nandun si Eva at si Adan, how they survive the climate and the earth, di ba? Ang sinusuot nila, nagtapis sila ng mga dahon. So, ganun yung mga taong meron tayo sa Pilipinas back in the day. So, for them to survive, nag-a-adapt sila sa environment na tinitirahan nila. Okay? So, doon po nagmumula yung mga ethnic designs natin. Okay? Katulad na lang po nitong Ifugao House of Mayaw-Yaw. So, due to the colds and heavy rains of the Cordillera, the windowless Ifugao House of Mayaw-Yaw with a low-hanging steep roof was created. So, for these people are makatutubo natin para mabuhay sila sa mga bundok. Cordillera kasi, di ba, it's sa mountain ranges, di ba? So, for them to survive the cold weather, the rains, ang ginawa nilang bahay is this, may malaking parang kulob na mga anahaw or mga dahon-dahon. Okay? Yun po yung design. Sorry, let me just put. Okay. Ayan, so sorry again. So, ito, if you're going to picture the house na present here, or para siyang kubo in today's generation, di ba? Yung pagka-build sa kanya is that kulob siya by having this low-hanging steep roof or yung bubong niya is sobrang baba and sobrang haba. And then wala siyang bintana, only a door na papasukan ng mga nakatira doon para para iwas yung lamig, yung pagpasok ng hangin, ganyan, para hindi sila mapasok ng lamig na through windows, ganyan. And then kapag umuulan, protektado talaga sila. So that's how they live. Parang they created this for survival. Okay? Talk about another form of ethnic tradition is the respond to the need to belong. Ethnic textile designs are created to identify specific group and or tribes. So, etong isang yung panahon din ng mga katutubo natin back in the days, meron tayong mga ah, kanya-kanyang klaseng or group of tribes, di ba? May mga tribal group tayo na present in our country. Iba-iba sila ng kultura and iba-iba sila ng mga paniniwala rin. That's why medyo barbaric sila, ganyan. Medyo hindi sila nakakasundo talaga. And with that, meron silang ethnic textile which make them difference with one another. Yun yung dahilan ba't nabuo itong mga kasuotan na meron tayo. Meron tayong social classes din back in the days. Meron tayong mga raha, may sultan tayo, ano pa ba. Yan, may mga ganun tayong klaseng social classes that being manifested yung ranking nila when it comes to having their clothes. Example natin dito, have you watched this series or TV show, ang Amaya? Ito ay pinangunahan ni Marian Rivera, if I'm not mistaken, and then Benjamin Alves. We have here also Micael Daes, Rochelle, Liza De Castro, and other actresses. So here in the Amaya, if you have watched this, makikita niyo mga suot nila, di ba? Nakadepende kung anong social class sila belong. That's why these people wears those clothes, yung mga silk na natitrade nila from other countries, sinusuot nila as their everyday clothes, di ba? Magagarbo yung suot nila. That classifies them as rich or the higher in position when it comes to living. And those people naman na medyo wala talaga sa buhay or yung mga alipin kung tawagin back in the days, ang kasuotan ay mga tagpi-tagping damit, mga ganyan, or piraso ng tela lang, ganun lang sila manamit. So that identifies their social class. So yun yung isang ethnic tradition naman na matitrace back natin when it comes to ethnic tradition design, sa mga design. Okay? Ito, one of the example nga po na meron tayo is the Malong Landap of Maranao, which has distinguishing narrow bands of supplemental weaves called Landap. On the other hand, Tiboli and Maguindanao,
Malong's core purpose has endured the test of time. To wrap its wearer in warmth and grace, with its tubular architecture.
One of the known dress or styles na meron tayo when it comes to clothing. Ito, if you're going to check, may mga pieces of clothing siya na tinadhe. Alam niyo yung tradition natin ng crochet ngayon, para siyang traditional way of crocheting. Parang yung traditional talaga ng pananahe, ganun siya. Tinatahi siya through weaving talaga na hindi makina yung ginagamit but hands. Handmade siya, ganyan. And then, pinagdudugtong-dugtong nila yung mga tela to create a pieces of clothes. So, ganun yung itsura ni Malong Landap. And ginagamit to ng mga Maranao natin. Okay? So, pag narinig nyo yung mga who use Malong Landap, you're talking to people of Maranao. Pero, those people of Maguindanao also use this Malong and even the Tiboli. Pero, ibang style kasi yung sa kanila. Okay? Moreover, ethnic designs also distinguish between social roles, political power, sexes, dress, and bodily ornamentation such as jewelries, tattoos, and other accessories carry differentiated ethno-linguistic groups. Ito nga po yung pinakita ko din example kanina sa Amaya. If you're going to check those series, may mga tattoo sila doon, may kanya-kanya silang accessories, and yeah, may mga differentiation pa din when it comes to wearing clothes and when it comes to sexes or gender orientation na pinapakita natin. So, back in the days, guys, ang nagsusuot ng skirt ay nagsusuot din ng skirt ang mga lalaki or what we know now bahag. Okay? Pa-skirt kasi siya, but ngayon bahag na lang siya kung tawagin, di ba? And most of the women is covered talaga when it comes to clothing. But balot sila when it comes to from top to off their head to the bottom of their feet. Balot na balot sila ng kasuotan. No? Not unlike these men na half of their body is being covered lang, like yung lower part lang and then okay na. Ganun yung kasuotan nila. As well as yung jewelries, di ba? If you're going to check kanina yung example natin sa Amaya nga po, sobrang from head to toe, kitang-kita niyo mga gwinto, di ba? Yun yung mga nakikita natin when it comes to differentiation of political powers and social roles. Okay? Kung sino yung maginto sa katawan, sila yung mga tawag doon, may kakayahan sa buhay. So, yun. As far as I know, as far as I can remember, ang nagsusuot ng mga bughaw ay mga sultan. Tama ba ako? And then, ang mga nagsusuot ng maitim na kasuotan ay pangkaraniwang tao. Let me have that reference once na magkaroon tayo ng meeting. Okay? I-clear ko yun sa inyo. Ito yung malong landap na sinasabi ko. Ito sa tubular skirt that is traditionally worn by sultan and other elite men and women of the Maranao ethno-linguistic group in southern Philippines. Evidence shows that malong landap has been worn since 1500. So, ito sinusuot talaga to ng mga tao back in the days. Ganito lang yung pieces of clothes nila. Tela lang siya and then tinatapa lang talaga sa katawan. It is made out of very thin silk called sutra. The most commonly found color scheme is the alternating color yellow, magenta. However, solid colors of magenta, green, and white are known. Okay? So, ito yung style ng clothings nila and yung may specific colors din na sinusunod as well as yung mga katulad niyan yung mga lines, yung narrow ng lines, yung mga patterns, may sinusunod silang style kasi yun nga po, may political power tayo, may mga social role tayo, and it pertains or doon nahahati kung paano sila sinusuot. Okay? So, tapos na tayo sa ethnic tradition. So, those are the things na meron tayo back in ethnic. So, kung most likely makatutubo talaga yung nag-provide ng mga ethnic traditions na meron tayo. Okay? Yun. Sila yung mga nagpanguna ng paggawa ng kulturang meron tayo when it comes to art. Okay? So, let's now move to Hispanic tradition. So, the second design is Hispanic, which refers to the artistic design influence from Spain. So, after nga po ng pre-colonial, ang unang mananakop na punta sa ating bansa ay ang mga Espanyol. So, it was 1565 that marked the beginning of Hispanic tradition. So, nag-start na po magpaglaganap ng Kristyanismo, of course. And then, kung may mga bagong dayuhan na napunta sa bansa natin, of course, may sarili silang mga kultura at tradisyon at ganoon na rin sa mga kasama na po doon ang paggamit ng art or their art style. Due to the Spanish colonization, Filipinos were introduced to the Baroque and Rococo style through architectural handbooks. So may mga libro silang binibigay natin back in your 21st again, ang nagpalaganap meron silang pinapalaganap na Kristyanismo through books. Ganon din yung mga arts and traditions na meron sila. Binigay din nila sa mga Pilipino yan to create and adapt. So, from being kubo na, kubo lang yung bahay natin ngayon, meron na tayong mga Baroque and Rococo style houses through architectures. Okay? Ito na yung mga pagtatayo ng mga simbahan nga po. Okay? Kapag sinabi natin Spanish period or most likely Hispanic, ang matitrace back natin yung history by looking at the churches na meron tayo. Okay? Yung mga Rococo and Baroque house churches natin, yun yung influence sa atin ng mga Espanyol. Okay? Ito, yung mga example natin. So, one of the Baroque churches na meron tayo or yung Baroque style natin, when you say Baroque po pala, it's more on yung mga ginagawa yung Baroque style when it comes to matataas siya. Matatarik yung pagkakagawa sa kanya. And then, yung pagkakabuild sa kanya is more on tawag doon, pagiging matibay, kumbaga. If you're going to check yung mga old churches talaga, sobrang titibay niya na until now, kahit anong lindol, buo pa rin. Kasi nga po, yung style of Baroque nga po is being built to last and to, kahit gerahin anong digmaan niya mangyari, it will last. Ganyan siya. Binibuild siya as a, alam ba yun, defensive something, ganyan. So, yun yung pagkagawa sa kanya. So, we have this Paway Church, St. Augustine Church in Paway, Ilocos Norte. We have the Santa Maria Church of Nuestra Senora de la Asunción Church in Santa Maria, Ilocos Sur. So, if we're going to check the blocks or the bricks being connected with one another, ganun siya katibay. Hindi yung mga cement lang talaga, pure cement yung bubuo sa kanya. As far as I can remember, may kinuwento yung isang professor ko sa amin sa art subject namin na hindi water yung ginagamit ng mga manggagawa when it comes to sticking these bricks with one another. Ang ginagamit nilang pandikit nung panahon ng paggawa ng mga churches nito ay yung mga itlog. Ganun siya. So, if you're going to know that, sobrang tibay po nila because of those material na ginagamit nila. So, ganun nga po yung style of making this or building these churches. Okay. Next naman po is Miag-Ao Church ni Santo Tomas de Villanueva Parish sa Miag-Ao, Iloilo. Tingnan nyo, ganun pa rin yung concrete style niya is connection of bricks into gigantic walls, di ba? Sobrang tataas niya. And the same with this. Ito medyo na siya. Maganda na yung style of building niya, pero yung style is still Baroque, connecting of bricks. And then, yeah. So, Hispanic tradition, Hispanic paintings and sculpture were taught by friars and missionaries to local artists. In due time, Filipino became adept at working in Hispanic mode, and artists began to create artwork focusing on the Catholic faith. Sculptors began to create images of saints, and painters began to paint religious elements and scenes from the Bible. So, imagine that 333 years tayong sinakop, malamang sa malamang naman is matututunan natin kung paano tayo or paano yung mga art style yung meron yung mga Hispanic natin or yung mga Spanish na mga Spanish culture. Okay, so yon, Hispanic culture when it comes to painting, pinipaintin natin is mga images ng mga poon, mga santo, ganyan. If you're going to visit churches, para siyang ganito, may mga painting na siya, puro ganyan. And then when it comes to sculpting, figures na po ng mga poon, from sculpting an anito to sculpting those saints or mga poon na po. Okay, so one of the Hispanic tradition or designs na iniwan sa atin ng mga Espanyol. Ito, in the 19th century, art academies were often and Filipinos were given the opportunity to study in Europe, further consolidating the Hispanic tradition. So, may mga Espanyol nga po, ay may mga Pilipino rather, na nakapag-aral sa Europa. At since dun sila nag-aaral, of course, yung kung anong style ng pag-aaral yung meron doon, yun yung yun yung inaaral nila. Kaya that's why, kita nyo si Rizal, di ba? The way he wrote his writings is more on Spanish. Kasi, doon siya nag-aral. Kabisado kaya magsalita ni Jose Rizal ng Espanyol kasi doon siya nag-aral at masyadong matagal yung stay niya doon. The same with people who studied there, doon nag-aral sila ng mga kulturang Espanyol or European style of education. That's why adapt nila yung mga culture na yan. Furthermore, local artists were introduced to Hispanic traditional materials such as limestone and sandstone, which were fashioned into blocks, doors, and windows and jambs. Ito nga po yun, no? Yung sinasabi natin na yung paggamit ng mga, kung dati ang ginagamit lang natin is mga kahoy, mga dahon, or mga ano ba yun? Tawag doon, kugon. Yan. Ganun lang yung mga style of houses natin. Medyo, lang tayo, into light materials. Yung mga kahoy nga lang, kugon on something. Hindi tayo gumagamit ng mga bricks. Pero, the time na dumating yung mga Espanyol sa ating bansa, doon na-introduce na po ang Spanish or paggamit ng mga bato or mga sandstone. Ito yung mga example ng mga churches natin. So, ayan, hindi na natin isa-isahin. Pero on the face-to-face, balikan na lang natin. So, if you're going to check, yung mga ceiling is very beautiful and very creative. Kasi more on painting na siya. Yan. So, that's it. Okay, so clay was also fired in kilns and used to make teja or roof tiles, baldosa or floor tiles, and ladrillo or bricks. So if you're going to check the houses from before, so since hindi na nga po gumagamit tayo ng mga kahoy, ang ginagamit na natin is mga bricks, mga sandstone. Clay was also one of the things na na-introduce sa atin. Ito nga po yun, yung paggamit ng siguro naman napapansin niyo pa yung mga ganitong bubong. Sige, wag na yung bubong, yung mga paso na lang sa mga paso ng halaman natin. So that's clay. And then if you're going to check this roof, ganun din siya ginawa. Kung paano gawa yung paso, ganun din to nabuo. Alam mo yung mga bubong sa Korean drama, ganun siya. Yes, nag-exist din yan sa Pilipinas. Most likely, naging bubong siya ng mga churches pa rin. Ayan. So, if you're going to check the bubong or roofs ng mga churches, ganyan yung style nila. Okay. So, tapos na tayo sa Hispanic. So, we'll be moving to American, but let me cut this video first.